The Miami Dolphins were embarrassed in week 1 against the Colts. Well, with week 2 on the horizon tomorrow, I analyzed the first game, and these 3 changes need to be made by Mike McDaniel and company for their week 2 game against New England if they want to save their jobs and move back to 1-1. And make sure you are subscribed, by the way, and join us for our Week 2 Dolphins Patriots watch party. It is certainly going to be an interesting game, and I have labeled it as a must-win. So we'll be live here on the channel, reacting, partying, tailgating, and breaking down the entire game. Subscribe and join us. Welcome into Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. I am Nic Rohloff. Like I said, I got 3 changes that Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins have to make in order to be a better football team from 1 week ago. And boy, I think it's very hard not to be a better team than just 7 days ago. But the number 1 change that needs to be made from the Dolphins is committing to running the football. I know that you are going to be down Austin Jackson and James Daniels at right guard and right tackle, but you simply have to have a more balanced offensive attack. Last week, the Dolphins offense had 48 snaps. There was 36 dropbacks to just 12 rush attempts. That ratio is no bueno. It simply cannot happen. And I know some people are going to get in the comments and say, Nick, they fell down 17-0 early. They were down 24. They were down 30-0. Yeah, I know. I get it. You fell behind early. But you simply cannot abandon the run and become that one-dimensional. When you become that one-dimensional, in either way, by the way, whether it's 36 runs to 12 passes or 36 passes to 12 runs, well, you stand no chance because the defense just knows what you are going to do on a snap basis. And they're able to just load up on the box if they know you're going to run it. Or they can just drop 8 people into coverage because they know you're going to throw the football. Like when defenses know what you're going to do, you're in a really bad spot. So you need to get De'Von Achane more involved. Last week, he had 7 of the 12 carries for Miami for 55 yards. And guess what he did? He averaged 7.9 yards per carry. I know that is very much inflated with that 26-yard left sweep he had in the fourth quarter. But the point is, the Dolphins were relatively effective running the football. And not just relatively. If you actually looked at the advanced stats from NFL Week 1, the Dolphins' EPA per rush, expected points added per carry, was 0.29 points positively. That was the second best EPA per rush in the NFL, which means run the football. You were actually doing a good job at it in your limited attempts. And more importantly, the first down distribution. This could be because of the deficit, I know, but on every first down, I went back and charted it. They had 19 first and 10s in that first game. 12 of them were passes, 7 of them were runs. So a little bit of a distribution there. But what can we also take away from this? The Dolphins had 12 runs in total. 7 of them were on first down, which means when we got the second down, when we got the third down, it was pretty much a pass play every time. The distribution, the ability to keep the opposing defense on their toes, off balance, simply needs to be better. Mike McDaniel, I'm begging you. Run the ball more and actually commit to it. Just commit to it. Lead the charge, folks. I'm giving you my 3 biggest changes that need to be made. Number 1 was committing to the run. What is your biggest change that needs to be made for the Miami Dolphins in order for them to be better from last week? Let me know your thoughts. Number 2 change that has to be made. You have to have Chop Robinson, Jaelan Phillips, and Bradley Chubb on the field together way more than you did in the first week. Honestly, this number is flat out embarrassing. Last week in the first game of the year, I went back and charted every single defensive play that Miami had. They had about 73 of them. Chop, Chubb, and Jaelan were only on the field together for 4 out of the 73 defensive snaps the Dolphins had in week 1. That percentage is absolutely embarrassing. It is a joke. And by the way, what happened in those 4 plays they shared the field together? Oh, Jonathan Taylor got stuffed for a 1-yard run. You had an incomplete Daniel Jones pass. Oh, and then another incomplete Daniel Jones pass. And by the way, there wasn't that many incomplete Daniel Jones passes. And on the fourth play, he did have a 14-yard completion. That was also the same play that Chop Robinson jumped offside on, free play for the Colts, and they picked up 14 yards. So in the 4 plays they played together, I'm not saying they were the exact reason why, but you saw 3 successful defensive plays. You didn't have many successful defensive plays in week 1. So the fact that you saw 3 out of 4 with those 3 on the football field together, yeah, you need to have those 3. Those are arguably 3 best defensive players, period. Let them eat together more often. More on this matter in a second here, but in this day and age, you can't take anything for granted. When you lose someone close to you, you can't help but think about your future. With life insurance through Ethos, your family is protected. Life insurance is a perfect way to make sure you're covered, can help pay the mortgage or your kids' college tuition. Right now, you can get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. Ethos is an online platform that makes getting life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not months. Life insurance is more affordable than you think. With Ethos, you can get a free quote and customize a rate that fits your budget. The process is 100% online with no medical exam required. Just answer a few health questions and get a quote in as little as 10 minutes. 3 million families have completed their applications and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage. So join them, protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That is ethos.com/NFL Daily. As I looked at the film from the Dolphins' first game of the season, especially on the defensive end of the field, there was something that was a pretty glaring takeaway. I mentioned that only 4 snaps had Chop, Jaelan, and Chubb together. Well, it's because the Dolphins' defense often rotated in specific duos, having 2 different interior defensive linemen with 2 different edge rushers. And it was oftentimes Jaelan Phillips and Bradley Chubb on the field together, and then Chop Robinson and Matthew Judon. And maybe this is because they believe that Chop is their best pass rusher. So they're like, all right, Chop is our number 1, Judon's our number 4. We'll pair our 1 with 4 and our 2 with 3. That's fair. That's fine. You're not going to have them play every snap together. That's simply not possible, and you want to rotate them to keep them fresh so they could stay healthy throughout the year and maybe be more dominant in the fourth quarter. But I'm also going to come up here and say that you have to have them on the field together more than just 5.4% of the snaps. That's what it comes out to. 4 divided by 73. Quick math there. So, yeah, you need to have them together more than 5%. Listen, this week, I'm not asking for 20, but can we get 12? Can we get 13? Like, let's get about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14% of the snaps rather than 5.4%. I think that would certainly help this defense get after the quarterback at a more consistent rate. That's one thing that I think Miami needs to change. Number 3, dealing in the same vein, but the Dolphins have to dial back the blitzes. Anthony Weaver was way too blitz happy in this week 1 game against the Colts. How about this stat, folks? The Dolphins in week 1 had a 48.5 blitz percentage. That was the highest blitz percentage in NFL week 1 by about a full 3%. I think the next highest was 45%. The Dolphins were just sending heaters, man. But the issue with that, they sent the highest blitz percentage, but only pressured Daniel Jones 24.2% of the time. So you sent the most blitzes, but you only got home 24.2% of the time, which was 29th in the NFL. That is as terrible of a combination as you could possibly find. Blitzing the most, blitzing a ton, but not getting home. This secondary is not good. It is the worst secondary potentially in the NFL. It's certainly the worst part about this Dolphins defense. So the fact that you're letting them go one-on-one or leaving them out to hang by sending so many blitzes, but you're not at least pressuring Daniel Jones, making it easier for secondary, is letting them be sitting ducks, which is what the case was for Daniel Jones and that offense. Like, the Dolphins secondary in week 1 had the second worst EPA per pass. Daniel Jones and that passing offense had a .43 positive point per play when throwing the football. Not good. And I'll actually give the secondary slightly credit here. The average target separation for Colts pass catchers was only 3.3 yards, which still bottom half in the NFL, but it's not like it was bottom 5. Imagine what they could do if they weren't sending 5 or 6 players every play and not getting home. So, what is my solution to dialing back the blitzes. Just bring them back. But the problem that I also have with the blitz percentage is that I would have to say almost half of them were disguised zone blitzes. And too many times we were trying to rotate our secondary last second, and it created way too many vacancies in our secondary that Daniel Jones was able to easily recognize and throw to. The most glaring example to me was a 4th and 3 in the second half. The Dolphins tried to send a corner nickel blitz with Jason Marshall Jr., and Daniel Jones recognized it, ran a quick 4-yard out route for Josh Downs, easy pitch and catch, 8 yards, moved the chains. But another issue there is that the safety who was supposed to pick up Josh Downs on that nickel blitz was Ifeatu Malafanu, who was playing 10 yards off. I know you're trying to disguise that he was coming off the corner with a blitz. But as soon as Daniel Jones sees it out of his corner of his eye, he's like, oh, the safety's 10 yards off. Snap, he's coming, whoop, throw it where the defender's not. Just too easy. So to me, they need to dial back the blitzes, but more specifically, dial back the disguise blitzes that is just putting your secondary in way too many disadvantages down the football field. So those are my 3 biggest things that the Dolphins need to change from week 1 to week 2. And this is why you subscribe, folks. Passion at a premium over here. We'll break down Dolphins football every single day. We'll be live tomorrow for the Dolphins Patriots Week 2 game, where hopefully Mike McDaniel and Anthony Weaver maybe watch this video and make the changes necessary to be a better football team on this Sunday.